Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Dropping Down from the Rafters podcast here on Tone and Entertainment. Today, joining me on the channel and from far away, so I don't think I have to run away during this interview, we got members of the OTS Project. We got Kidman and Elias, AK-47. How you guys doing?
Doing good, doing good.
Kidman, I don't have to worry about Elias chasing me in the parking lot during this interview, I'm guessing. Oh, your mic is muted, Kyle. Your mic is muted. Elias, we'll go to you then while Kyle figures out what's going on with his microphone there. His microphone's muted.
Yeah, I mean, I can still go find you. It's not a problem. That's real easy.
You can roll. You can. Now, Elias, I was actually looking through your Instagram this past week, and I was recently up in North Carolina a month ago covering a Firestar Pro Wrestling show, and I seen that you did some work up there before you came down here to Florida.
Can you say that again? It looks like it slowed down.
Okay, no,
It might be your signal. It's not my
signal. Kim and Kyle, are you with us? Can you hear anything that Kyle is saying, Elias?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. So I was up at North Carolina a couple of weeks ago covering Firestar Pro Wrestling, and I see that before you came down here to Florida, you were doing some stuff up there as well. And we just lost Elias. There we go. Kyle, are you there? We had Kyle. We had Kyle here. We had Kyle. Nope. Elias, are you there? Well, we are having technical difficulties here. The power of the internet is not working too well.
I can hear you good.
Okay, Elias is here. Kyle is here. He was here with us on the pre-stream. I think he's here. I hear him typing. I think he's.
Oh, can you guys hear me?
We got you. We got you. All right.
I was putting it in the chat that it says my mic was working, so I don't know what was going on.
Okay, you are clear. Elias is here. We'll figure things out. Now, Elias, I was asking you about you did some work up in Firestar Pro Wrestling before you came down here to Florida.
Oh man.
No.
Uh-oh.
This is the fun of being live sometimes.
This is true. This is
out
true.
of control. It's out of control.
Yep,
well, let's go with Kyle. Okay.
What's up?
Now, I recently saw that you posted a picture. Obviously, Cody Rhodes this past weekend. Let me take Elias out there so he comes back. That you posted a picture with Cody Rhodes. Obviously, he just won the WWE championship this weekend at WrestleMania, and you were his handler at one time. So what did that entail?
Well, hold on. Before I go, you can hear me perfectly clear?
I got you, bro. I got you.
All right, sick. So, okay, I wasn't like his agent or anything. I don't want people to think that. It was just for 2 shows. So, when he first left WWE, the first 2 shows he did on the independents were Evolve, and I was working with Evolve at the time. So, we had a show in Maryland and we had a show in New York, and basically, it's Cody Rhodes. Even at that time, he wasn't the American Nightmare, but it's still Cody Rhodes. It was still a WWE guy. Or a former WWE guy. So they wanted to make it a big deal. So instead of just booking him, they had him on the show and they had him do a meet and greet before the show for an extra cost. So that's basically all it was I just basically was with him for the weekend, and whatever he needed, like I would run the meet and greet. So I was the person taking the tickets and stuff. Anything he needed, if he needed water, if he needed food, anything, I was basically the guy. So yeah, that's all it was. But I did get to talk to him. It wasn't like, don't talk to him. You're just there to take tickets. Like I was there talking with him. I was his buddy for the weekend, basically. So I got to know him a little bit and I got to talk to him. And for him, he probably doesn't even remember me, but for me, it was such a really cool thing. And he gave me some really cool words of advice that I'm not going to share. I'm going to keep that to myself.
Yes. Elias, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back. I don't think it was me. I think it was you guys. I don't know.
It's not going to be Elias's fault. I'm not going to blame Elias for anything.
It's never my fault.
After our
It's never my
interaction
fault.
at the establishment, no, it's my fault. I will take the blame for it. That's for sure.
I know. Yeah.
No, Elias, I was talking to Kyle about his interaction with Cody Rhodes, and I was just at WrestleCon this past weekend. It seems like an eternity already ago, but I saw a lot of the young and up and coming wrestlers out there, and like Callie and Tita, who I've interviewed here on the channel. She was working with Trish Stratus on that particular WrestleCon and helping her with everything that she needed. So I think it's a really cool experience for Kyle to actually get a chance to, I don't know, you kind of get to see, I think, real quick how maybe the industry works when you get to do being a handler for a meet and greet.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't gotten that experience yet. I know Kyle did with he was with Cody Rhodes. He's done a bunch of shows in his past. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to do that yet. I would love to be, at one of the, WrestleMania weekends or WrestleMania week. Just soak in knowledge from anyone that you can see, honestly, wherever you can find them, because they're everywhere. So yeah.
I was gonna say, as long as I've been a professional wrestling fan, this was like my real first Mania week week experience. I was there for 5 days, and let me tell you guys, I think it would be worth it next year to go up there. You meet so many people, you interact with so many people. I've made so many contacts from just being in there for those 5 days. I definitely think that's just a suggestion for me next year. I think it's Minnesota next year where they're planning to do everything. It's wild. It's crazy, man. It's just a hell of a good time. So definitely, I think put that on your radar for next year. Hopefully, you'll get some bookings. People will be looking for the OTS project next year.
So
Yeah,
I got to do Mania weekends for like a while. I got to do it from 2015 to 2019. Because I was working with WWN, so I would either get in the car or get on a plane, and I would do that. So I have good experience like doing those weekends, and yeah, they're no joke. But I never really had the experience being booked. I was there to help, so I was running merch, I was taking tickets, I was doing music. So I think next time I do a WrestleMania weekend, it's hopefully to get booked. Hopefully I'm not stuck at one place. Hopefully I can go all around, and hopefully we're booked on shows.
Absolutely. Now, what I was trying to get to a little bit earlier, Elias, was I was looking through your Instagram, and I was just up in North Carolina a couple weeks ago, and I went to a Firestar Pro Wrestling show, and I saw before you came down here to Florida, you were doing some work up there.
Yeah, I started training at Firestar. I was about 16 when I started training. Got the tag team with Javon Evans, as you see him on NXT, and being under LeBron Colzone there in Florida. I mean, excuse me, in North Carolina. It was a really good experience. I feel like I learned a lot in Firestar.
Now, how did you guys come together to form the OTS project?
So it's like kind of a wild story. Sorry, as I accidentally kicked my camera. It's kind of a wild story. So we kind of became friends. We kind of became friends because it is weird because I'm here and he was always in North Carolina, but we kind of met through his cousin, and his cousin is a wrestler here in Florida. And that was basically it. So we met, we instantly became really close. This is like 2019, and around that time, I went through some really like dark stuff, some really deep stuff. From 2019 to 2021, basically, and that whole time, he was my guy. Like he kept me solid and stuff. And we had never met. We didn't meet until probably I think 2021. We hadn't met. But it was just an online friendship. Basically, we would play video games. We would talk on the phone. We would watch wrestling together just through this online friendship. And he just kind of was always there when I kind of needed him to. So last year, towards the end of last year, he said, we always said, like, if you ever come to Florida, I have to manage you. So towards the end of last year, he finally moved to Florida, and I was like, well, I guess I gotta get back in the game, because I left for a while in 2020 till last year. I was gone. So when I found out he was coming here, I was like, yeah, I guess I gotta get the gear bag out and go do some shows.
Okay, Elias is back with us. Now this weekend, you got the poster behind you, Kyle.
Yes, sir.
You got Task Force going on this weekend at Retro. Is it
Retro
Retromania?
Rat.
Retro Rat this weekend.
Well, it's called Retromania, but it's at Retro Rat for Tampa Bay Pro Wrestling. Yeah.
Gotcha. So you guys recently cut quite the promo on Mikey Spandex and DMC about them having to come back, and that it's kind of gonna end this weekend.
Yeah, that's the plan. There was a lot that I could say in that promo, and everybody seemed to get on us that it was a 3-minute promo, but that wasn't even touching the surface on what I could say about those two guys. Yeah. So and I'll leave it at that, because I don't want to get myself in trouble. But yeah, basically, I don't mess around with the idea that you're gonna go somewhere. And I then found out homeboy didn't get fired; he left on his own, which makes this even worse, in my opinion. You had the opportunity of a lifetime, but I'm gonna relax a little bit. I'll let Carlos and Elias do what they got to do in the ring, and I think that'll send the message that needs to be sent.
That's right, because it's going to be Elias and Carlos Gabriel this weekend. Carlos was supposed to join us here on the show tonight, but obviously there was a horrible storm out there where he lives, knocked out the internet, knocked out the power. He couldn't make it on here tonight. So, but he doesn't have to do much talking, because a lot of the talking from the OTS project is obviously done in the ring. Isn't that right, Elias?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like to do that much talking. I leave that for Kidman. I like to, I say it a lot. I like to bring realness back to professional wrestling. I feel like we see that a lot now with Cody. We've seen that so often, and that's when wrestling's done right. I feel like there's a lot of gimmicks. There's a lot of, everybody wants to be best friends. Just when you get in the ring with, Carlos, Gabriel, or Elias, AK-47, is not to play patty cake. I'm there to hit you often and hit you hard, and just bring realness back to professional wrestling, because, that's when professional wrestling is at its peak and at its best.
So you guys kind of thinking it's just been a little, I don't know what the right word is, maybe fluffed for a while?
Yeah, a lot of fluff, a lot of, rainbows and sunshines, high fives to the fans,
Hey, brother.
A lot of hey brothers, how you doing? And then stab you in the back. I'm not gonna stab people in the back. My brothers are my brothers. If I'm gonna stab you, I'm gonna stab you right in your face. So that's what I'm seeing a lot in professional wrestling. And I feel like, I'm the spark that's gonna help change professional wrestling, especially in the indie scene.
Well, I mean, if anybody wants Elias on their good side, I think it's the right way to go. Like, I want to stay on your good side, Elias, as much as possible, because I believe the words that are coming out of your mouth, my friend.
Absolutely.
And Kidman, Kyle, like, I know Kyle, man, I told you when we saw each other at the establishment, I love what you guys are doing. Even before I met you guys, I was watching your guys' promos. It feels real. It feels authentic. You can tell when somebody is kind of playing up a character that they need to cut a promo for. But when you guys cut your promos, man, it brings me into your world. Whether I want to be there or not, it definitely brings me into your guys' world. And you are literally getting ready to put the independent wrestling world on notice that the OTS project is here. You're here to make a statement, and you're here to make money, most importantly.
I mean, it is real. Like, this isn't a joke. This isn't even a gimmick. Like, this is two brothers, well, 3 brothers, but in this sense, this is 2 brothers right here that have been through hell together, that aren't playing any games. I'm not here to joke around. I'm not here to mess around like some people want to do. Task Force, we want to make jokes. We want to walk around being Cowboy Mikey, goofy over here. That's not what we're about. I have my fun. For those that know me, I did the Dynasty. That was my group. That was my fun. That was my joke. We were the high school boys, and it got me nowhere. So I'm not doing that no more. I'm here to make a statement. He's here to make a statement, and Carlos is here to make a statement. We've all been left in the shadows. We've been overlooked. We've been overshadowed, and we're not having it anymore. That's the whole point of OTS Project, Out the Shadows Project. That's our goal. That's the whole reason this project exists, is to get the three of us out of the shadows. And if it works, then that's the goal. And while we're doing that, we could bring other people along. So if you're with us, you're with us. If you're not, and you want to run around and be goofy and put on a cowboy hat and quit a job, a dream job, I'm gonna stop.
Strong words for task force coming this week.
I'm heated, bro. I'm
You
heated. I'm not
you
gonna lie.
are, man. I can tell. I can tell. I think the blood pressure's up a little bit, so we're gonna bring it back down a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, how did you guys bring? I saw the promo in which you went to visit Carlos and kind of, I guess, recruit him to the OTS project. So, what was it that Carlos was missing that you guys felt like if he joined up with you with the OTS project would
Right.
take him to that next level?
See, what people don't understand, and what I do understand, is that Carlos Gabriel is a killer. This guy has a killer instinct. Now, I'm not saying he's out here murdering people for real. That's not what I'm saying. In the context of professional wrestling, this guy has a killer instinct that nobody let him show. I've been doing this almost 11 years at this point. I was booking weekly shows, and I was booking Carlos Gabriel every week. And I was the only person at the time that actually saw something in this guy. Everywhere else he went, they put him in the pre-show. They put him in a squash match, 5 minutes. You don't even get anything in. That's what they did with Carlos Gabriel. Whereas I was like, hey, man, I understand you're new. I understand you're green. But here's a main event match against Troy Hollywood because I see something in you. So that was the point, is when I came back, when I brought Elias with me to come, and I said, well, we're coming out the shadows. You're someone that was in North Carolina and was overlooked. I'm someone that has lost everything and nobody cared about me the whole time I was in this. I said, well, we need someone else. Who can we get? And I said, well, someone that, again, was overlooked, someone that was held down, someone that was, hey, brother, thanks for help setting up the ring. Here's a 2-minute match. You're going to get killed by this guy who has no talent at all. I said, well, that's Carlos Gabriel, because I saw something in him no one else did. And now he's sitting at home as an online banker for 12 hours a day, and nobody cares about this guy. They just let this guy disappear, let this guy fade away into the shadows. So that was my thing. Elias and Carlos didn't know each other before this happened. That was my call, but I ran it with my brother. I ran it through Elias, and he said, let's do it. And now I don't want to speak for them, but I would say since they've met, they've become close as well. They've become brothers as well. They've formed a friendship. It's not just, oh, I'll see you at the show. These guys are at each other's houses all the time watching WrestleMania. Elias was just at his house watching WrestleMania. So not only is it that I needed to bring him back because I didn't like the fact that he was just sitting at home, I also wanted to form this bond between the three of us that I feel like when you do that in wrestling, that's better than just you're in a tag team because you guys look good, but you don't talk and you just see each other at the shows,
Elias, what are your thoughts on being formed with Carlos Gabriel?
I had to, it took me like a week or two to think about it. But I love being with people that share the same vision as me. So I'm with Kyle because, he loves this business. He wants to bring realness back into it. I had to, study Carlos. I saw him at the establishment. I saw his passion in his eyes. And I feel like if you look at someone's eyes, you can't lie. The eyes always tell the truth. So I looked at his eyes. I saw the same passion that, we both have and we both share. I saw that killer instinct that Kyle was talking about in his match. And I just saw like the same passion I have. And I want to unite and be together with the same people that have the same vision as me. So that's why, we both decided to bring Carlos in.
Let me ask both of you. I think this is a real important question because you both talked about, being overlooked and the fact that you guys know deep down that you have the talent, right? You have the passion and you believe in yourselves that you have it takes to make it to a bigger level. So knowing that, how frustrating and how much does that fire get ignited from you like the day like that switch comes on and says, you know what? If we're going to take this to another level, it's done being Mr. Nice Guy. It's done being the hey brother type of guy. You know what is that switch that really flipped for you, both of you, to take it to the next level?
Well, for me, I would say it's definitely like it's 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 kind of, I guess, a bunch of different things. One is, again, I've been in this for almost 11 years. I got into this when I was 14. So basically, this whole time, everyone looked at me as a kid, but I'm 25 years old now, and I'm not a kid. And I'm not here to joke around. I'm not here to play. I'm not here to put on a baseball jersey and blow a whistle anymore. I'm here to be serious. This is a serious thing for me. Um, and between that and my dad passing away, also kind of made me realize, like, not just in wrestling, because I was kind of gone, but in wrestling and in life, I kind of been taking this as a joke. I wasn't taking life seriously. So I think that also has made me go, whether it's wrestling, whether it's just life in general, everything I do, I want to be serious about it, and I want to do it to the best of my ability and not just make a joke out of it.
Mm. What about you, Elias? What was that switch that flipped for you?
I mean, it started when I was 5. I was watching, matches. I seen like fans cry for wrestling, and I was like, what is it that makes these fans feel connected? And I just want to feel that same connection with people, but I don't want it to be fake. I don't want to, walk through that curtain and I'm someone 2 seconds before I leave the curtain and I come out and I'm somebody else. So I feel like that, that switch, I turned it on. I feel like the switch broke. It's been on the whole time. So I feel like, bringing realness back into it. I keep, repeating and repeating it, but I just feel so strongly about it. Also, me and Kyle, also Carlos, we've seen so many people make it to the top, make it, into the WWE, not like, Mikey Spandex that, got the dream and let it go. But, I've seen people like Javon Evans, Jay Malachi, and Firestar in NXT killing it, going viral every time he's in the ring. And I want that same thing. And if it takes me, WWE to see me, and if they want me to be a ref for 5 years and then I can become a wrestler, I'm not going to let that go. So every opportunity I get, I'm going to take advantage of it, and I'm going to hold it by the neck, and I'm going to take it down with me.
Kyle, I think me and you share something similar as far as you talk, because I want to send my condolences for your dad passing away. When my dad passed away, it was my motivation to like. I tell everybody I've been watching professional wrestling since the day he brought me home from the hospital. Right, like that was his passion, that was his thing, and I loved it so much. And after he passed away, I was like, I've always wanted to do something in professional wrestling. I just didn't know what, because I'm like, I'm too old and didn't have the athletic ability like Elias to get in the ring, and I didn't know what to do. And I was like, I kind of felt like I wanted to take on his legacy a little bit, but at the same time do my own thing. And that's what started me. Like 5 months later, I had done my first interview after he passed away, and since then, it's kind of like I feel like I'm bringing on a little of his legacy, but also having a hell of a time getting to talk to awesome guys like you and seeing both of you like when we ran into each other at the establishment, we had not met each other before that day, but I had saw the videos that you guys did, and I even reached out to Kyle. I was like, dude, let's do something, because like I think I have a good eye for talent. I mean, some of the people that I've had here on the channel are now signed with WWE and AEW and are on TV all the time. So I feel like I have a good eye for talent, and that's why I reached out to you guys, because I was like, I need to do something with these guys now before they blow the heck up. And they're like, yeah, it's $100 to talk to us at a booth now to get a picture.
But I do agree with you when it comes to wanting to do something and like the legacy. So like for people that don't know me, and like Tony, I don't know if you know my story because we've just met, but like my dad is the reason I'm in this. My dad actually hated professional wrestling, but since I was like 4 years old, 5 years old, all I've loved is pro wrestling. I love other things. I love Star Wars and Marvel and all this, but wrestling was always at the top. So when I was like 14, my dad bought a wrestling company. That was his thing. He's like, I'm buying this wrestling company. And he didn't buy it for himself. He was like, it's yours. I'm going to help you. because you're still a kid, but this is yours. That was the whole plan. So that's why we were doing all this stuff. So to me, this is his legacy. This is my dad's legacy. Like, he had a successful business, but I personally didn't. That wasn't my thing. You know, he had other businesses that weren't my thing, but he decided to do this for me. So this is his legacy. So when he passed away and whatnot, I had to deal with what I had to deal with. I had to mourn and stuff. But then, like I said, when Elias said he was moving here, and I said, okay, let's do something. And then as I thought about it, I said, you know, this is what needs to happen, because I can't let my dad's legacy be that he passed away, and that was the end of my family's, impact on wrestling, or at least Florida wrestling. I was like, I need to come back and do this for the kid. I need to come back and do this for me, and I need to do this for my dad.
Oh man, I love that story so much, bro. Like, for real. Like, that shit's got me motivated, man. I'm like, bro, like, I love that so much, bro. I love people who are taking their passion and, what is really important to them and making shit happen, bro. Much respect.
Thank you.
Elias, what about you? What did your family and friends think when you embarked on this journey?
I mean, I've said it since, my first memory was telling my parents that I wanted to become a professional wrestler. So my sister, my, brother, a lot of people are like, maybe you should have a plan B, maybe you should have a backup plan. And I was like, what's the point of having a backup plan when I know this is going to work? There's no other option but for this to work. So, they were hesitant. It took me a couple years to convince my parents to go to wrestling training. I feel like a lot of people that are in training, they had to go with their parents. I had to drive 3 hours every day to go train. They didn't like that, but I invested into myself. I always had a job that would sustain and maintain my passion and my goal. So they were hesitant, but then they saw how intense, how real, how passionate I was about this, and they were just all on board after that.
A few years ago when I interviewed Sky Blue on the Indies, I was talking to her and she's told me she had no plan B. This
Right.
was her. This was her. She was all in, like 100%, right? And I feel like when you see a success story like a Sky Blue, who's obviously one of the biggest names in AEW on the female roster right now,
Killing
come
it.
in and say, "Hey, I have no plan B. This is what I'm all in." If you put your heart, you put your soul, you put your determination into everything, like, shit can happen, right? Like, stuff can
Right.
happen, and some people might think you guys are crazy or whatever, but if you don't live out this crazy, dream and go for it, you never know what can happen.
For sure. I agree. I mean, when I left, I was like, okay, I didn't have a plan B. I left high school. I didn't graduate high school originally because I embarked on this wrestling journey. I since have gotten my high school diploma, so we're good there. But when I left, I was like, okay, I didn't have a plan B. I didn't go to college for anything. I was working at McDonald's. I was working as a custodian at a high school, and I'm like, this just isn't for me. This isn't my thing. Like, wrestling is my thing. So it just so happened that I left the job as a custodian when Elias was coming here. So my schedule freed up and whatnot. So we were able to start doing. It's almost kind of like poetic, like the way everything kind of fell in line. It just seemed to work too well.
Let me ask you, Kyle, as someone who, I guess, essentially was an owner of a wrestling company at the age of 14, if that's
Yeah,
a correct statement, okay?
yeah,
In your booking
essentially.
matches, and I can only imagine what it goes like as a grown up, right? Some of the guys that we know who are booking matches, the kind of
Right.
stuff they have to deal with. So as a 14-year-old, 15-year-old, growing up booking matches, I mean, it's got to be kind of wild and crazy, and
Yeah. So I mean, I wasn't just booking matches right off the bat. So
Right.
my dad, we didn't like create the company. The company's was called ACW. It had been in Newport Richie since 2002. Guys like AJ Styles came through and wrestled there and stuff. This dude Ralph Mosca was the guy who created it,
Okay.
and so he linked up with my dad. So when we bought it, I wasn't just booking stuff right off the bat, although I will say I wanted to, and it's one of those things where you just think what you know and whatnot. And Ralph was like, "Who the hell is this kid? I don't like get this kid out of here." And so then I realized like because I like everybody hated me because I was just like opinionated and rude and stuff. And so I kind of realized like, okay, this is on me. I need to take a step back. So then I started learning, and I told Ralph, I said, "Hey man, like I'm sorry. I was acting a fool. I thought, I had the keys to the kingdom. I now realize even though I do have the keys to the kingdom, I need to earn the fact that I have the keys to the kingdom." And then from then on, then I told Ralph, I said, my interest is booking. So I told Ralph and he helped me figure that out. And so there was like a good year or two where I was watching him book and he was breaking down his philosophy of how to book a show and how to, rearrange a card around and time it out and stuff like that. So I wasn't booking right off the bat. I would say like late 2015 is when I started really booking. And from then on, yeah, I was pretty much booking. And then we had a weekly show. And Ralph had to kind of step away. And so from like 2016 to like 2018, I was booking a weekly show every week. So that was where it definitely gets intense when you're like 15, 16 years old and you're booking a weekly wrestling show every week.
Yeah, I can only imagine
Yeah.
these guys and gals coming up to you saying like, "Why has this kid got me in this match?" or "Why am I
Right.
doing this crazy thing?" So
Right.
how did you deal with what I guess blowback from like anything that you were trying to book?
I mean, I luckily by that time there wasn't really like it was a lot of newer guys. So by the time I started booking, that's when guys like Hunter Law and Troy Hollywood and Snoop Strikes were coming in.
Who are killing it on the indies right now?
They're incredible.
Yeah.
They're the best. They're the best. And I've said that for years. So luckily they were coming in. So if I had a young mindset and I had kind of a new mindset, I kind of had a similar mindset to them in a sense. So yeah, there wasn't too much like that, but when there was, I will say Hunter Law, I always called him like my Shawn Michaels because he was so good, but he would always give me such an issue, and not like an issue of being like bad, just like he always had something to say about what my plan was. But at first, and I'm like, who the hell is this guy? Like, just do what you're asked to do. Then I realized, like, no, this guy's smart. He understands this, and so I was very collaborative with people when I was booking. Like, I would have an idea, but I would listen to your idea, and a lot of times I would go with their idea because I trusted a lot of their instincts. And it depended. It wasn't everybody. It depended person by person because someone would come up to me with some idea, and I'd be like, "That is the worst thing I've ever heard in my life." So sorry, but I need you to go do what I need you to go do. But a lot of times, someone like Hunter Law or Hollywood, they had a mind for the business. They understand the business. So when they had an idea, for the most part, I was like, yeah, we're going with your idea.
Now let me ask Elias. Elias is back with us. Obviously I've seen you at the establishment. You killed it out there. The show that I saw you, but as you were coming up as a wrestler, when you know you weren't maybe booked correctly, how frustrating would that be?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty frustrating. You also have to earn it, like Kyle said. You have to earn the main event. It's not just given to you. Nothing's given to you in wrestling. Nothing's handed to you. So I always knew I had to earn it. Put my time in the ring, put my time in training, do what I have to do, and I'll get there. And just handle like a man. If you have to, fight, you gotta fight. You gotta fight for what you believe in. And that's kind of it. I've always been good at doing what I gotta do, but also standing up for myself. So
Okay.
Standing on business.
on business always.
100%. Now, Elias, what would you say maybe is the biggest lesson that you've learned about yourself on your pro wrestling journey?
Just take every moment for what it is. So enjoy every moment. So right now, some people want to be, signed. They want to be, where they're not. But you have to enjoy this moment because, you only live once, every second by second. So just take in every moment, and just, embrace every second that you're in the ring, outside of the ring, whatever you're doing. just take it for what it is, because you're never gonna have this moment again.
What about you, Kyle?
Something that I've learned about myself for sure is like how emotional I am, I guess. Like I don't play around. I'm like a heart on my sleeve kind of guy, I guess. I didn't ever realize that. I thought I was just a normal person. But then when you get in wrestling and like there's a lot of stuff that gets thrown around and said and whatnot, and I kind of realized like I'm supposed to let that slide, but I really can't let that slide. Like it's really eating at me. And me and Elias have had this conversation before he came down here. Like if when I was still doing shows before I left, he would be like, "Man, you got to calm down." I'm like, I don't really want to calm down, man. So I would say, yeah, I'm definitely like, it definitely showed me like how emotional I kind of am, and the fact that like when I started to, I wasn't confrontational or anything, and I'm still not like confrontational, but when I started, I was a kid, I was nervous, I was scared. Once I started booking and stuff like that, I kind of realized like I stand on business now. Like I definitely like when I learned that, I kind of realized like when someone says something to me sideways, you got like 2 strikes. I don't even give you 3. You got like 2. You say something to me sideways, I'll be like, okay, maybe that wasn't directed at me. Then you say something to me again, and I'm gonna be like, watch your mouth. And then yeah, that's basically it. Like I definitely learned that I'm emotional, and at some point a switch flipped, and like Elias said, I think it's broken to where I don't play around. So that's something I learned for sure.
You know what, Kyle? I think me and you have a lot in common. I'm a 2 strikes type of guy, person as well too, because we're so busy and like Elias was saying, life is so short. Do we have time to mess around with 3 strikes
Right.
for people? I know I don't have the the time or the patience
Right.
for it. Like 2 strikes.
And when I say this, I don't want people watching this to think I'm an asshole. I'm not. I'm really not. I'm a nice guy. I'm a funny guy. I'll be your best friend. I'm just saying in the sense of like, if someone's coming at me sideways, I'm not the type of person to just let it be, I guess. But I am a nice guy for the most part. As long as I'm not out there, as long as I'm not out through the curtain. When I'm behind the curtain, I'm a nice guy.
Yeah, I'm gonna say behind the curtain, both of these guys are good dudes.
Yeah.
But when that switch flips on, man,
Right.
stay on your side of the rail. That's all I can say.
Right.
And know your place. That's for sure.
For sure.
Now
For
I know
sure.
you guys have Retro Rack coming up this weekend, and you guys have the Establishment. I believe you guys are going to be at that show again next Friday as well, too. Am I correct?
No, we won't
No.
be at that one, but I
Okay.
believe the May show, I believe we're supposed to be on.
Okay, cool.
Waiting on confirmation though.
Gotcha. Okay, so besides Retro Mania, what else do you guys have going on then?
So I believe I have to double check because we were waiting on word, but I believe there's a on the 26th. I think there's an Atomic show that myself and Carlos are booked on in Cocoa Beach, but we haven't heard any. Like we were told we were booked, but we haven't heard anything. So I don't know if it's still happening or what. So we're trying to figure that out. Carlos is handling that. So I don't really have any info other than it's supposed to be in Cocoa Beach on the 26th.
Okay.
But I think that's kind of it. We've kind of dealt with this situation where unfortunately a lot of shows recently there's been issues with either on our end or on the show's end. Like we had 2 shows last month. One show that got canceled, like Establishment was supposed to be at the gym, and they had to move it. There was supposed to be a brawl show that was in a gym, got promoted, everything that got canceled randomly, but we were supposed to be on that. We had a couple other bookings that we were supposed to be on that things just kind of fell through. So we don't have too much this month, but we're really trying to look and we're trying to get out to more shows that we aren't on that we can just say, hey, we're here. We want to help and we want to have an opportunity. That's all we want. We want an opportunity to show our talent and show that we're not playing, like Carlos said in the promo, we're not playing Sparkle Fairy Princess dress up. We're here to bring realness back to pro wrestling, and we want to show the fans that, and we want to show companies that, and hopefully they like what we got.
Absolutely. Well, if any promoters or wrestlers that have an inside are watching this on demand, definitely take a look at the OTS project. These guys are ready to bring the realness back to professional wrestling. I'm not just saying it because you guys are on here. I wouldn't have you on here if I didn't believe it. I could bring anybody on. I wanted to really have a good conversation with you guys tonight, and I think we we got to know each other a little better, and I'm definitely excited for the future for Out of the Shadows.
Yes, sir.
Moving
Out the
forward,
Shadows Project.
Thank you.
Out
do
of
it.
the Shadows Project, that's for sure.
It's
Is there anything-
Sunday, Retro Rat, 3 p.m. is OTS Project versus two goofies. And Mikey Cowboy Spandex left WB because he wanted to wrestle and didn't want his dream job, versus DMC, who I don't really even have too much bad to say about. I've always been cool with DMC. So,
Okay.
Yeah. But this Sunday, come watch Mikey go beg for his job back because he got his ass kicked so bad. And that's about it.
All right. Well, Elias, where can people follow you at?
On Twitter, Elias AK47_official. I believe it's the same on Instagram as well. Facebook, Elias AK47 as well. And just like Kyle said, Sunday, come see us, whoop ass, because that's all we do. And just be the best on the whole show. I don't really care about anybody's feelings. We're gonna be the best on the show. We're the main event. We're the spotlight. I've said it time and time again. And just live proof of that. We're gonna live proof of that. And if you guys have the privilege to watch, go ahead and watch.
Yes, sir. I think it also if you can't be there in person, it's not live, but I do believe it goes up on Fight TV at a later date. So if you aren't able to be at Retro Rat for the show, definitely be on the lookout. Follow the Tampa Bay Pro Wrestling pages and be on the lookout for when the episode goes up on Fight TV, because you ain't gonna want to miss this match. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, it's going to be a barn burner, as they used to say.
Yes,
Kyle,
sir.
where can people look you up at and the OTS Project?
So on my Instagram and my X, formerly Twitter, it's OTSP Kidman, I believe. And I believe we have an Instagram for OTS Project. I think it's OT Shadows. Keep it real simple. And then Facebook, you can find Kyle Kidman. You can find OTS Project. Just type it in. You can find Elias AK47. You can find Carlos Gabriel. There's all like pages on Facebook for us and the group. I have a YouTube channel too, Kyle Schneider. I don't really post too much, but I'm not gonna lie, Tony kind of got me in the mood to start podcasting. I had a podcast for a little bit and I stopped. But I don't know. I got this Yeti mic sitting over here. I got some headphones. I need a better camera because this camera sucks. But so I might start a podcast. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens. But go look at my my YouTube. If there's something there, then I did something.
All right, absolutely. Well, if you ever need a guest, dude, just hit me up. I'm down to come on for sure.
Yes, sir.
One last question before I let you guys go. The OTS Project has 3 members. Is there any recruiting in the future? Are you guys happy being that 3-man tight family?
I'll say that there's something or someone that might be on standby in the shadows. Doesn't like luchadors. That's about all I give. That is, some might say an anti-luchador. Might be standing on standby in the shadows currently. That's all I'll say.
Okay, fair enough. I'm not gonna ask
waiting
too
for
much.
waiting for the time to be right.
Absolutely. Well, again, like I'm not gonna poke the bear because I know what happened. So we'll just have to wait and see. Make sure we're coming out to the shows that you guys are at and checking you out. Gentlemen, it's definitely been a pleasure to catch up with you guys for sure. And can't wait to see you guys at the next show that we run into each other. I know it'll be sooner than later.
All right, let's do it.
All right, guys. If you like interviews like this, yes, with Kyle Kidman and Elias AK47, the OTS Project. Guys, make sure you hit that red subscribe button so you can stay tuned in here to Tone and Entertainment for future videos.
And shots will be fired.
They will be. Always.
Yes,
subscribe to the channel. Do it. Go now. Do it now.